American League West, a royal blowout on the Oakland Speedway. The Kansas City Royals, winners of Season 2, playing the Oakland A's, winners of Season 1. Game 1, a tough day for George Brett, who in the 4th inning kept this Oakland rally alive. A gross error, because it gave Wayne Gross a chance to bat with 2 men on. A 3-run homer, all the firepower that Mike Norris would need. Norris fired a 4-hit shutout, his 2nd straight shutout after a lengthy slump. And Billy Martin's amazing A's had grabbed an early upper hand. Game 2, with their championship crown starting to tilt, the Royals kept struggling for runs. Steve McCaddy had him shut out until Willie Wilson made up a 1-0 deficit in the 5th inning. Kansas City looked ready to rumble, but the A's stayed cool. In the 8th, rookie Mike Jones had to face Tony Armas with a man on second. A little scary, because Armas already had 3 hits. Okay, said Tony A, with a bullet right through George Brett. And Dwayne Murphy scored the decisive run. Steve McCaddy, pitching out of several tight jams, went the distance to complete a tough 2-1 victory. Needed only 1 more as the series moved on to Oakland. Thinking big, thinking sweet. Billy Martin went with his Iron Man starter, Rick Langford, to pocket the clincher. Langford held them, and Oakland wasted little time getting on the scoreboard. Dave McKay surprised by playing long ball, and Oakland took a 4-1 lead. Dave Beard came on late to save the victory. Celebration time, as it took the A's only 2 years to rise from last place and 108 losses to champions of the American League West. How about that, Billy? Not so simple in the Eastern playoff. For the Milwaukee Brewers and New York Yankees, tension and near trauma with every pitch. Ron Guidry opened for the Yankees in Milwaukee and was greeted by the familiar crack of Brewer bats. Sharp defense helped out, especially Greg Nettles, who offered one of his patented run-saving miracles. But the score was 2-0 in favor of Milwaukee when Oscar Gamble came up with a man on in the 4th inning. Gamble hit the jackpot to tie it, and his teammates rolled up 2 more runs in that 4th, en route to a 5-3 victory. Game 2. The Brew Crew cast was tight. The Yankees still a bit nervous. No score as Lou Piniella batted in the Yankees' lucky 4th. A 1-0 Yankee lead that would hold up. Goose Gossage helped winner Dave Righetti out of a tight spot, then wrapped up his 2nd playoff save as catcher Rick Cerrone faced a real screen test. A 4-star play and 3-0 win as the Yankees took home a commanding 2-game edge. But in the Bronx, the moon was full and oh so capricious. New York once again scored in the 4th inning, and Tommy John was keeping Milwaukee frustrated, with the Yankees again coming up with a big play. Meanwhile, Randy Lurch was doing almost as well, and the Brewers started arresting pinstripe traffic on the bases, giving New York base runners fits. Gibraltar, and the Brewers came alive with 3 in the 7th and 2 in the 8th, including this game winner, 5-3 Milwaukee. Game 4, Rick Russell and Pete Vukovich matched zeros until Ben Ogilvy, previously hitless in the series, drove in the second run of that magic 4th inning. New York tried to trim Raleigh Fingers, who came on in the 9th after pitching 3 innings the night before, but Fingers and the Brewers escaped by a whisker, 2-1, and the series was even. The 5th and final game, and Gorman Thomas homered early as the Brewers took a 2-0 lead in search of their first division title. But New York got a rallying call. And what else but the 4th inning? Reggie Jackson had the right channel. Showtime for Mr. October in full Reggie vision. A 2-run homer to tie. His 16th homer in postseason play. Oscar Gamble followed with a cloud of his own, and Yankee bats were suddenly alive and well. Rick Cerone also homered as New York romped away 7-3. On the mound, young flamethrower Dave Righetti relieved Ron Guidry early to earn his second win of the series. Goose Gossett relieved Righetti to save New York for the 3rd time, and for the 5th time in 6 years, the Yankees were #1 in the American League East.
It figures to be a very special moment when Billy Martin is introduced to the fans who have loved him so over the years and stuck with him through his troubles. Billy Martin as the manager of the Oakland A's.
Number 1, Billy Martin. His coach, number 41, Pete Boyer. In the bullpen, number 42.
To the Campaneris-LeGros incident and the Chambliss home run, we can now add another special moment, the reappearance of Billy Martin in the ALCS. We'll talk of Billy, Reggie, and George when we come back. Even though the years for Billy have been controversial wins, he has always been a crown favorite, but certainly the last 5 years have been tumultuous. Billy Martin's been a favorite in New York since the day he broke in as a Yankee rookie in 1950. So he was a logical choice to take over the managing chores in 1975. Though his career was already steeped in controversy, it got more controversial with the adding of Reggie Jackson a year later.
The reason why that I'm a Yankee is because George Steinbrenner out-hustled everybody else.
George may have out-hustled everybody else to get Reggie, but Billy's perception of how much Reggie hustled tended to vary at times. There was a famous incident in Fenway Park where Billy pulled Reggie off the field, and the two almost came to blows in the Fenway Park dugout before they were separated by coaches. Still on the field, between them, Billy Martin, Reggie Jackson, and George Steinbrenner brought magic back to New York and brought a championship flag back to New York in 1977. But the very next year, Billy ran into problems. Reggie was benched from time to time. And then in Kansas City, Billy referred to his boss and Reggie by saying one is a liar and the other's convicted. And he was fired on the 24th of July, 1978. 5 days later, George Steinbrenner stunned the baseball world by announcing at an old-timers day that Billy Martin would return to manage the Yankees in 1980. But after the Yankees started slowly in 1979, George Steinbrenner saw fit to reunite his star slugger with his star manager. And in June of '79, Billy Martin was brought back prematurely to the applause of the crowd, only to be fired again that October. In February of 1980, Billy signed on to manage the Oakland A's, and he's changed the fortunes of the Oakland Ball Club. Controversial as he may be, Billy has always won wherever he's gone. He won in Minnesota, Detroit, New York. He won also with the Yankees and now with the A's. And with the A's bringing them to this point, it may be his greatest achievement because they lost over 100 games just 2 years ago, but he's done it with BillyBall.
He walks off of first base, cool and slow. Everybody in the park knows he's gonna go. BillyBall, A's baseball. BillyBall, A's baseball. He's gonna get home, just you wait and see.
Why's everybody trying to pick off me?
playing hit and run. Decoy in the catcher is flaky, but it's fun. Billy Ball, A's baseball. Billy Ball.
You blew that call.
Get back in the dugout. He's gonna get in trouble. Just you wait and see. You're out of here.
Why is everybody always picking on me?
The Yankees and the A's have yet to throw a pitch in anger in this series, but already a controversy is brewing. We'll get to that right after this. Art Fowler have gone. Sure to follow have been the accusations that Billy's pitcher tend to wet the ball up a little bit. With that in mind, George Steinbrenner and Billy Martin met with American League President Lee MacPhail yesterday, and Lee MacPhail met in turn with the umpires of tonight's game, including home plate umpire Nick Bremigan. What went on in the meeting, Nick?
Basically, it was just a meeting to say we're going to run everything like we do during the season. That if we find any evidence of any pitcher doing anything illegal with a baseball, we have the right to take the baseball, use the rule that's in the rule book, and enforce it the same way we did during the season.
Some have said it's not a question of if you'll ask for the baseball, simply when. Do you buy that?
No, I think a lot of this has been a controversy started by the press and by Steinbrenner and by Martin, and of course the umpires as usual are in the middle of the thing. We just have to do our job the same way we've been doing it all year, Bryant. Now, if I see something suspicious, I'll act.
In an effort to help the fans at home, I want you to take this from me. How can a fan sitting at home recognize a ball that's been tampered with?
Basically, what they'll do is they'll either cut the ball up in this area right here, or put something on it either over in the corner here or over in the corner here.
But as the fan watches the ball approach the plate, what will happen?
What will happen is the ball theoretically should sink, and it should sink rather rapidly. Now, most pitchers, including Tommy John and Norris, have very good sinkers, which are legitimate pitches. It's a tough thing for a fan at home on TV to be watching and to really decide, because it's tough for the umpire right here in the ballpark.
I'm sure it is. Nick, good luck to you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And so we are set. It is the Yankees versus the A's in a best-of-5 series.
Presents the League Championship Series. Tonight, from Yankee Stadium, it's the Oakland A's against the New York Yankees. The American League Championship Series is brought to you by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. By Ford and your Ford dealer, who invite you to test drive the 1982 Ford cars and trucks. By IBM, helping put information to work for people. And by Dutch Masters Cigars, the masters of natural wrapper tobacco. It's a cool, crisp night here in New York. Temperature about 53 degrees. A good crowd is on hand. Electricity all over this ballpark as we get ready for the game between the Oakland A's and the New York Yankees. Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Garagiola. Alongside me, as always, is Tony Kubek. And Tony, as Brian referred to it before the game, it is like a soap opera. Will George talk to Billy? Will Billy talk to Reggie? And it's almost like the game is insignificant. In fact, I think Greg Nettles put it best when he said most kids, when they're growing up, think about being either a baseball player or joining a circus. I'm lucky I got both. But we are going to have a game here tonight. It'll be Norris for the Oakland A's and Tommy John for the Yankees.
BillyBall, how many times have we heard that? I think BillyBall is the greatest piece of managerial gamesmanship in the history of the game. Billy gets them thinking about everything but the Oakland A's. Every time a man gets on third base, he might steal. It's going to be a squeeze play. First and second double steal. To me, BillyBall simply is a man who went out and taught a young Oakland A's team what his second father taught him. Casey Stengel taught Billy Martin how to play baseball. Billy taught that young Oakland A's outfielder to throw to the right base, to play in proper position. He takes the heat off their backs. If they get thrown out of the base, I'll take the heat. He has the opposition hitters thinking more about spitballs and grease balls and soap balls than he does about getting base hits. If the Yankees focus on BillyBall, The Oakland A's could beat them, but I really think overall the Yankees are so overpowering, they could blow this Oakland team away.
When you talk to the Oakland A's, they say what Billy has done to the young players is taken the fear out and put confidence in. But like you say, he has them thinking. Today in the paper, it was like the Yankees didn't even have a manager.
Well, another man that I think is very big, we haven't heard Bob Lemon's name. We haven't heard Dave Winfield's name. Dave Winfield can beat you with his glove, his bat, his legs. He is coming into this thing not getting the publicity that Reggie has or many other players, but he's coming in with a tremendous intensity. He could come up being the star of this series.
I tell you, this whole before the game kind of thing, the hype, the newspapers, everywhere you go, it is Billy, George, and Reggie. But Tommy John, if he's got his good stuff, will throw ground balls. And if Mike Norris has his good stuff, you'll see a pretty good screwball.
Well, you've got Mike Norris, and there are really not any starting pitchers for the Oakland A's who are left-handed. But Reggie Jackson in your picture right now is a man who they will pitch around. Billy said to the press yesterday when asked the question, what are you going to do with Mr. October? What about the Jackson mistake? He said, we're going to go right after Reggie Jackson. You don't go right after Reggie Jackson in October. He showed that to Milwaukee. He's shown it to other ball clubs, even though he had a poor year. They're going to try and pitch, I believe, around Reggie Jackson. That means the man hitting in front of him, Dave Winfield, could get better pitches to hit.
Tony, as we look at Billy Martin, the Billy Ball, they talk about stealing home. He tried it 7 times with his team. Unsuccessful, didn't steal home once, yet everybody talks about it, and they led the American League in home runs, so that's good old-fashioned baseball.
Well, that's that statistic that doesn't show up. The Yankees have a lot of power. As a team, they have not been hitting. The games they've been winning recently have been with a home run, the Jackson home run, the Gamble home run against Milwaukee. The Yankees can run, too. Billy, he has instilled in this team a kind of swagger, a swashbuckling style. They came out to the ballpark yesterday for the workout. None of the press were talking to the players. They were all talking to Billy. On the other side, they were talking to all the players and none talking to Bob Lemon. But the team swaggers when it comes in. They have very much confidence. They typify the personality of their manager, which I think most teams ultimately do, and their manager is Billy Martin.
And he lets that be known. We're waiting for Tommy John, and there you see him coming in from the bullpen. Tommy John, who, what a tremendous story he is. Not only the fact that his little boy Travis is all right, and he'll be here watching this game. But the operation, that seemed to drift in insignificance. Nobody thought he would come back, even the doctor who operated on him.
Dr. Joe, when he performed the surgery, was first ever done on any athlete. He took a tendon out of Tommy John's right forearm, put it in his left elbow, and told him very simply, Tommy, you will never pitch again. Tommy proved him wrong. He's the winningest pitcher in the American League over the last 3 years. And as Clyde King with him, he will throw the sinker ball. You must be a very disciplined hitter against Tommy John because he will go from the knees to the ankles, and the more you chase, the lower he's going to go.
He'll throw a lot of ground balls, as they say. And that operation, when Tommy explains it, he said it's just like your garden hose when it has a kink in it. There's no force at the nozzle, and his kink was in his elbow. They took it out, and he's been able to win a lot of ball games in both leagues. So he'll be the pitcher for the New York Yankees. Mike Norris with a real good screwball, a pretty good-looking pitcher.
Well, Mike Norris is the man they've accused most specifically of all on this team of doctoring a baseball. We'll try and keep our cameras for you fans, and you try and pick something up. The hitters complain. But Mike Norris is almost like a left-handed pitcher because with that screwball and about 5 left-handed hitters for the Yankees, he can make them look awfully bad.
What they've been accused of is the pitcher's putting soap on the right hand, the pant leg here, and then rubbing the ball against the pant leg and loading it up that way. They use sandpaper. Some just use good old-fashioned spit. I remember kidding Drysdale. Well, it's crude, but I remember Drysdale one day threw one. You could see the rainbow from the mound to home plate. So
the thing about it, Joe, and again, this is Billy Ball again. This is gamesmanship. Whether they throw it or not, and some obviously do, the hitters are thinking that they throw it, and that gives the guy an extra pitch.
It does. If you get a hitter thinking about anything else but what he's doing, you're ahead of the game. Well, the Yankees are taking the field. We're getting ready for baseball. Now let's go to Bob Shepard for our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise? We direct your attention to the microphone near home plate. Now, to honor America, let's join Robert Merrill as he sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave on the land of the free and the hope of the brave?
So, with the playing of the national anthem sung by Robert Merrill, we're getting ready for baseball, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Now the Dodgers have a very special cheerleader here for the World Series, and he's a fellow who would have played a key figure in this 1974 series. And right now, Tony Kubek's going to talk with him.
Should the Oakland A's win the World Championship again in 1974, it could be because of the elbow you're looking at right now. It belongs to Tommy John, who at All-Star break was the winningest pitcher in the National League. And Tommy, you had a 13-3 record. You never picked up another victory after that.
Right, Tony. I tried to pitch. I think I waited about 8 or 9 weeks and rested some and tried to come back and throw. And it just got to the point to where, I could throw maybe 3/4 speed. But whenever I tried to get the little extra pop on the ball that you need to get guys out like Jackson and Bando, etc., I just couldn't do it. And I couldn't throw a good curveball. And I think I have to have both of them to win. And it just came down to the point that the season was growing short, and I had to make a decision to get my arm operated on, or try to maybe play in the series, etc. And I felt the longer I waited, the more it would take me into spring training. So we decided about the 1st of September to get my arm operated on, and the 25th, Dr. Frank Jobe went in and reconstructed my left elbow.
Here's the first pitch of the game. It is a curveball strike on Ricky Henderson, who'll be playing left field. There's the lineup: Henderson in left field, Murphy in center field, Cliff Johnson, the designated hitter, Armas is in right field, Klutz at third, Moore's at first, Newman's the catcher. Strike two. Dave McKay is at second base, and Rob Pichelot will be the shortstop. There you see it. The pitcher Norris. The DH, Cliff Johnson. Henderson, 2 quick strikes, had 6 home runs, 35 runs batted in, hit .319 on the regular season. Ball 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tommy John won 9, lost 8, 2.63 earned run average. Count remains at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tommy averaged 3.2 strikeouts per 9 innings. He walked 2.5 per 9 innings.
You can see by the first swing of the ball game by an Oakland A's, tried to hit Tommy John the opposite field. Henderson just did. Cliff Johnson, a former Yankee and teammate of Johnson, had a separate meeting with a lot of the Oakland A's hitters on how to hit. There's Cliff, how to hit Tommy John. He said you got to be very disciplined, and you've got to hit the ball in the right center field or down the right field line, or at least try to.
Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Ricky Henderson. Born on Christmas Day, 1958 in Chicago, Illinois, now lives in Oakland. A's number 4 selection in the 1976 free agent draft. Bouncing ball to Randolph. 1 out.
Number 21.
A good crowd on hand. The batter is Dwayne Murphy, who hit 15 home runs with 60 runs batted in. 251 average on the regular season.
This young man is an exceptional all-around player. Throwing, running, hitting for power. He will walk.
There's his strike. Born in Merced, California, now lives in San Ramon, California. He's number 2 pick in the June 1973 free agent draft. 1 ball and 1 strike. High hopper, Bob Watson. 2 outs. So they're 2 away, nobody on. Cliff Johnson, the batter, who had 17 home runs, 59 runs batted in, hit .260 on the year. A big guy, 6'5", 225, born in San Antonio, where he still lives.
He may be the counterpart of Dave Winfield in this series, although even though he's a DH, will only do it with a bat. But the plan of the Yankees is to not let Tony Armas hurt them. Cliff Johnson probably will play if it goes all 5 games, because the Yankee pitching plans at this point are to go with 5 left-handed pitchers in this series.
The A's got Johnson from the Chicago Cubs along with Keith Drumright in exchange for Mike King. And if he takes a swing and a fastball, you'll see as good a swing as there is in baseball. He really goes around on it. Taking a pitch all the way, ball 1. Eight of his 10 seasons, Johnson has reached double figures in home runs. He's not a ping hitter. He goes for the downs. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 outs. Nobody on. Ball game underway. A good crowd on hand here at Yankee Stadium.
Johnson, the man who, a former Yankee, who, when he had a playful little fight with Goose Gossage, injured Gossage, and Mr. Steinbrenner sent him off.
He didn't get it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Held on to by the catcher Cerrone. 1, 2, 3 for the Oakland A's. They go down in order. So we move to the bottom half of the 1st inning. A's nothing. Yankees coming to bat. Mumphrey, Milburn, and Winfield. You're looking at Mike Norris and the lineup that he will face. Leading off, Jerry Mumphrey in center field. Larry Milburn, what a job he has done since replacing the injured Bucky Dent. Milburn will be a shortstop. Dave Winfield in left field batting 3rd. Reggie Jackson in the cleanup spot in right field. Oscar Gamble is the designated hitter. Greg Nettles will be at 3rd base. The first baseman is Bob Watson. Rick Cerrone, the catcher, batting 8th, and Willie Randolph batting 9th. And that's a lineup that Bob Lemon shook up a little bit, Tony.
Yeah, moving Randolph in that last game against Milwaukee to the 9th spot. Willie's had a rough year. Mike Norris, 12-9 on the season. Did not have a very good second half until, well, the last 2 ball games he's pitched, he threw shutouts. One of the reasons he's thrown a few more fastballs, although he can go through an entire ball game, and 7 of 10 pitches will be the screwball, or what some hitters say, that other funny-looking thing.
Well, we'll see. 3rd baseman Klutz moves in close for Jerry Mumphrey. Mumphrey 6'1", 185. It's a ball. Born in Tyler, Texas, still lives there. He came over from the San Diego Padres along with John Pacella for Rupert Jones, Joe LaFay, Tim Lawler, and Chris Welsh. 1 ball, 1 strike on Mumphrey. Mike Norris, 12-9 on the year. Fouled out of play, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Mike Norris, as a kid, a teenager, in fact, came up for the Oakland A's under Alvin Dark. First outing, pitched a shutout. Very important to that Oakland ball club. Then he hurt his elbow. Had bone chips removed, calcium deposits. They thought his career might be over. He's battled back.
Screwball, and he got him. That's that breaking pitch, and there they go asking the umpire about that pitch. Could be to ask if it was a strike, but you just wonder if he wasn't setting something up.
We'll show you the last pitch for Screwball. He changed his speeds 4 or 5.
Number 18.
See how far ahead of the pitch Mumphrey was. The motion on that screwball ball by Norris fools hitters almost as much or more as does the action on the ball.
So there's 1 away. The batter is Milburn. Time is called now. Something on the field in left center field. Milburn, born in Port Norris, New Jersey, now lives in Kirkland, Washington. He came from the Seattle Mariners for Brad Goulden and Cash in November of 1980. He has really done a job, this fella. It is low, ball one. Klutz moves in on the grass, very tight at third base. There you see him. Milburn, 4 hits in his last 5 at bats. Right field base hit. And that brings up Dave Winfield, who should get a big hand from this almost capacity crowd, if not a capacity crowd.
Number 31, Dave Winfield. Left field. Number 31.
Winfield, 13 home runs, 68 runs batted in, hit .294 on the year.
They talked again about BillyBall and the speed on this Oakland ball club. The Yankees have some players can run. Mumphrey, of course, who made out. There's Billy. Milburn, he might take a chance. Winfield can steal. Jackson might surprise you. Randolph down at the end of the lineup. So there is a possibility we could see more running by the Yankees than by the Oakland A's. We'll see how the series develops.
Strike. A fat.
Mike Norris, a superb athlete. One of the best fielding pitchers in the American League.
Slow curveball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Inside, 2 balls and a strike. Winfield is 6'6", 220 as we look at Reggie Jackson. Born in St. Paul, now lives in San Diego. He was signed as a free agent for $1.5 tons of money. With or without inflation, he got a lot. 2-1 pitch. 3-1.
Threw something off speed, even though Winfield was ahead in the count, 2-1.
Boyer, Billy Martin, and Art Fowler. Billy saying something to the umpire, Nick Bremigan. Fowler, the pitching coach, very simple in his directions to his pitchers. You can't catch a walk. Throw strikes is what he tells them. You'll see a lot of first pitch strikes, but Norris is behind 3-1 here. Walked him. And that brings up Reggie Jackson.
Norris trying to reach back for something extra on the 3-1 pitch. Hard fastball, overthrew it, got away from it.
Number 44, Reggie Jackson. Right field. Number 44.
Reggie Jackson. Norris motioning his second baseman. McKay had just talked to his shortstop, Picholo. There's 1 man out. Reggie had 15 home runs, drove in 54 runs on a regular season, had a .237 batting average. Joe Altobelli way out of the coach's box. Ball 1. Norris averaged 3.3 walks per 9 innings, but he did have 14 wild pitches, the most in the American League. He hit 10 batters, which placed him second. Steve had 11. Witt hit 11. 2-0. And now here comes the Billy Martin.
Well, Billy got the cheers that you heard during Brian Gumbel's pregame show. As he took the field, he's getting some boos now.
Tell you, the directions right here will be direct and forthright. And it'll go back to what I said a moment ago that Art Fowler passes on. You can't catch a walk, and you start falling behind the Reggie Jackson's 2 balls and no strikes, where they can look for a pitch. They'll drive it into the next county. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Milburn is on into second. Winfield is on in first. We have no score in the bottom of the first. And there you see the runners. Winfield.
Off speed. Screwball.
Big pitch. Gutty pitch. 2-1 to count. Clete Boyer, Billy Martin, Art Fowler in the inset. Another screwball, and it's 2-2. Reggie trying to put 3 quick ones on the scoreboard. Mike Norris has come back.
Look at Reggie watching Norris. Talking to the umpire, you asked for the ball, Reg? Norris walked off the dirt surface and went to his forehead, his cap.
Could be 2. There's 1. Throw. Not in time.
There was a case where one of the intangibles of Dave Whitfield comes into play. Good play by Dave McKay. Watch Whitfield take out Piccolo. He put enough pressure on him that he couldn't quite get enough on the ball, and Reggie really hustled it out. Here comes the takeout from left center field. And you know Piccolo sees Winfield coming. His big long strides, Reggie beats it out.
As big as Winfield is, 6'6", 220, that's got to be like the 5'15" coming down at you. He bobbled the ball just slightly when he first got it, and then with McKay, and when he gave it to Piccolo, Piccolo could hear the thundering herd, and he didn't quite get the good stuff on it. So there are 2 outs, and here's Oscar Gamble, who had 10 home runs, 27 runs batted in. And he looks for that ball inside so he can hit it down the right field line, which is only 310.
Good low ball hitter.
Strike. At third base, Milburn. At first base, Reggie Jackson. 2 outs. No score.
They're not holding Reggie on down at first base. Calvin Moore will back off for the pitch.
There goes Reggie.
You bet.
They'll not make a play.
Reggie has a chance to show you a little smarts right here in his experience. He has been a base stealer in his career. When he saw that Moore, even though there's a left-handed hitter up, he knew he had it made with a head-first slide. They gave him those extra 2 slips by not holding him close.
One ball and 1 strike to count on Oscar Gamble. Milburn's at third, Jackson at second. Low. 2 balls and a strike. The on-deck batter is Greg Nettles. There you see him.
With Reggie getting down there, not only is a single score 2, but he takes that force out away. Puts some pressure on an infielder.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Oscar Gamble. Down the left field line, a screwball, but it's a foul ball. He changes speeds on so many pitches, and this screwball, when Keogh, his fellow pitcher, talks about it, he says that the spin on the screwball is so tight and the motion so fast that he's, for all intents, a left-hander throwing right-handed. But he also changes speeds.
Joe, he's one of the guys who benefited from having elbow surgery. When we first saw him, when he came up as a teenager under Alvin Dark, he threw a fastball slider. When he hurt his arm, he had to learn to throw off-speed pitches, and he learned the screwball.
There it is. He missed. And it's 3-2. Walked him. Bases are loaded. Greg Nettles the batter. Norris, who averages 3.3 walks, has walked 2 men in this inning. And Nettles, with 15 home runs, 46 runs batted in, hit 244 on the regular season. as we look at Bob Lemon.
Every hitter in this Yankee lineup makes a pitcher work, doesn't he? You can't just lay the ball in down the middle.
Strike. This is definitely a pitcher's ballpark, and big right center, left center as you look at it. But the pitcher has to be careful down that right field line. 310. Get that ball inside. Two strikes on Greg Nettles. Against Milwaukee in the miniseries, Nettles was 1 for 17, 1 run scored, .059 average. So he has been cold.
In this ballpark, Nettles is as much a threat as any Yankee hitter because he pulls the ball as consistently as Gamble.
Left center field. No one will get this one. It'll be extra bases. 1 run in. 2 runs in. Gamble's going to try to score. Here's the throw. They got a chance. He's in there. 3 runs in.
This is a marvelous piece of hitting. You don't see Greg Nettles given too often and go with a pitch like that. But he took a screwball, a little up in the strike zone, but might have been 6 inches off the plate outside. And he just served it out. Here comes the throw. Very dangerous slide by Oscar Gamble, but he jars Newman loose.
So the Yankees have cashed in on a 3 RBI double by Greg Nettles. The bases on balls have come home to score. And here is Bob Watson. High, ball 1.
And Joe, that Winfield pressure on the ground ball, a possible double play ball, will go overlooked in the box scores tomorrow. But that could have been a very important slide by Winfield.
Deep to left center field. Going back, Murphy. Henderson. Murphy makes the play out there in Death Valley. 430 feet from home plate, and it is really Death Valley here at Yankee Stadium, both in right field, right center, and left center. Long out ends the inning at the end of 1 complete inning. Yankees 3, Oakland nothing. Armas, Klutz, and more. Well, you're looking at the latest phenomena in baseball. Reggie Jackson, ever since a trip to Chicago, the fans throw money. He's picking some up. The groundkeeper, he made about, I bet you made $6, $8 there.
Didn't he have a day where he said he made almost $80? Did I read that correctly?
Ground crew, they love him for that.
Who said there's an economic crisis and unemployment is high in the world?
Look at him. Whoop, wait a minute. He saw, whoop, no, I'll get it the next inning.
Right field.
So we go to the 2nd inning here. Antonio Armas will lead it off. Yankees leading 3-0. Antonio Rafael Armas. Born in Venezuela, he still lives there. Came over from the Pittsburgh Pirates along with Doc Medich, Dave Justy, Doug Bear, Rick Lanford, and Mitchell Page in exchange for Tommy Helms, Phil Garden, and Chris Patton. What a trade. There's a base hit. Armas is on. So these Oakland A's come roaring back.
Well, you wonder what happens to BillyBall when you're 3 runs down. You can't afford to take a whole lot of chances. You're playing a veteran ball club. Middle infielders like Willie Randolph and Watson. Of course, Nettles, very alert.
Well, they didn't wait for the first pitch, but John is not a wild, doesn't have a reputation for being wild, so he jumped right on the first strike. Armas is on, Klutz the batter. Inside, ball 1. Klutz played for the Yankees in 1976, 78. He was a number 4 pick in the 1972 free agent draft. You'll see some good plays behind Tommy John because he's around the plate. He works fairly fast.
He needs no scouting report either. He pitches the same pattern against everybody. Down, low and away to right-handers.
Off the glove. Nettles can't make a play. And the A's have 2 base runners on. Nobody out. And Kelvin Moore is the batter.
Sinker ball. Tommy John gets it on the ground. He got a little bit up, and Klutz went with the ball very well. Milburn was not going to have a play. It was going to go through anyway. Here's a young kid that's got some home run power, and it is to right field. In fact, the first swing of the bat yesterday in batting practice in Yankee Stadium, he hit the ball out in right center field. He's got that swing inside out. Can go with a pitcher like Tommy John.
This could be two. Randolph, one over to first. Pulls Watson off the bag. It's only a force play with Armas taking third.
Mickey Klutz, the former Yankee, as the ball handcuffs Willie Randolph. Milburn, Klutz really goes after him. As soon as Willie had to back up on the play, got the ball jammed in his stomach. He couldn't get a real strong throw to Milburn.
Number 5.
So Klutz takes him out of a double play with the takeout.
Nettles wants to talk to Tommy John now. Newman is the batter.
Don't know if they would do it now, 3 runs down. He may be reminding Tommy John. The Oakland A's have a play where the runner on first base takes the lead off and stumbles and pretends he falls. As silly as it sounds, it's worked successfully. I don't know how many times over the last couple of years. The pitcher throws the first, and the guy from third just walks on in.
It's referred to as a high school play, but it puts numbers on the board. Newman fouls it off, strike 1. Newman, born in Fort Worth, now lives in Danville, California. He came over from the Cleveland Indians in 1975. 6'2", 210. Jeff Newman.
He's playing today instead of Heath because he hits this Yankee staff pretty well, or he has recently. There's Armas at third.
One strike to count. 3-0 the score. Yankees. Bouncing ball. Nettles, the second. One out. Over to first. Low throw. Watson gets a double play. Nice play by Bob Watson at first base.
What an advantage for shortstop to have a man like Greg Nettles. Look how far to his left he went to get that ball. Feeds the ball to Randolph perfectly, about belt high. It was really nice. Watson snaps it out of the dirt.
You might have noticed on that play, as Watson with the pickup, a good play, that there wasn't a whole lot of pressure on the infielder in the middle of that double play, and it might have made a difference. So we go to the bottom of the second. The score here, the Yankees 3, the A's 0.
And also one of the centers of controversy. Controversy between him and the Yankee owner, George Steinbrenner.
Steinbrenner sent him a note down by Reggie Jackson.
There's a slow pitch that's over but low, ball 1.
I don't know what it said, but I think it probably said, hey, look, in the heat of battle, we were both maybe a little excited in the clubhouse, and go out and get him, Tiger, and let's go.
And he did. He really did. Klutz at third, Piccolo the shortstop, McKay playing second, and Moore at first base for the Oakland team. Line drive, hit to the third baseman Klutz. He short hops it, fires over to first to Moore, and there's one away. Almost caught that ball in the air. So he grounds to third, and Cerrone is out. Here's Willie Randolph, moved down to number 9 in the batting order.
Asked Charlie Lau, the Yankee hitting coach, what was the matter with Randolph. Says Curtis swinging at bad pitches. He normally doesn't do that. Last year he led the league in walks. Now he's going for bad stuff.
Here's a fly ball lifted to right center field deep. Armas is going back, still going, and it is Murphy over there too, and Murphy makes the catch.
Boy, those guys can go get it, can't they? I mean, Armas is right there with him, stride for stride. They play as if strings are tied on them. In Cinco out there in that A's outfield. Great speed. They can go back on the ball and come on for it.
Murphy went a long way to haul that one in. And Armas is there, too, if needed. Here's Mumphrey, the switch batting leadoff man who struck out to start the Yankees in the opening inning. Batting left-handed against the right-handed Norris. 3-0. New York leads in the second. Fastball high and away, ball 1.
Billy Martin said, I've got 3 center fielders playing the outfield. They all were center fielders at one time.
That's a great luxury to enjoy, all right, for a baseball manager. Mumphrey cuts. Here's a fly ball lifted to right. Easy chance for Armas. He's under it waiting. He has it, and they go down 1-2-3 in the Yankees second. At the end of 2, New York 3, Oakland nothing.
The aerial view of Yankee Stadium as the Oakland A's and the New York Yankees now battle for the American League pennant. Tommy John against Dave McKay.
Is there a more beautiful ballpark in America?
This is a beauty. It really is. The house that Ruth built. Tradition everywhere. Well hit, right field. Reggie Jackson's there, 1 out.
Well, Yogi's moving the outfielders in the right place so far. Pitch him away, play him away.
Number 8.
Did very well.
Picholo, shortstop. Number 8.
They want Reggie to stay in New York. I tell you, these papers here are really something. Everybody has an in-depth column. Bunted down the third baseline, strike 1. Will Reggie stay? Will he go?
Over the last 30 games or so, Reggie's had kind of his official countdown as to how many games left in the Yankee uniform. He said before this start, he said the maximum number of games I think I'll be in the Yankee uniform is now down to 12. If it goes 5 in the League Championship Series, and if we play in the World Series, it could be 7. He's saying now it's 99% sure I will be leaving.
Ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Picholo, born in Santa Monica, now lives in Redondo Beach, California. He doesn't get it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He was the A's #1 selection in the January 1975 free agent draft, the secondary phase. Went to Santa Monica City College and Pepperdine. Pepperdine with good baseball. He doesn't get it. Out on strikes. That's the second strikeout for Tommy John.
Swinging a low pitch, it'll go even lower. Well, Ricky Henderson. We've seen a couple of good catches. Ricky Henderson, the left fielder, Dwayne Murphy, finished 1-2 in putouts. Against Texas, Buddy Bell at the plate. We get a chance to see the speed of Ricky Henderson in the Oakland Coliseum, going to the warning track, to the wall. It is a super outfield.
Clete Boyer talks about him, and Lee Walls is the outfield coach. He really works with them. Fungo after fungo after fungo. Line foul. For charging the ball and holding the runners, Armas, Murphy, and Henderson, according to Boyer and Lee Walls, are the best in the American League. And you can't really argue with it.
2 years ago and last year, Joe, they rated his throwing arm, Henderson's, as less than average. But he started playing in high school as a first baseman. He said, until I got Lee Walls, nobody told me I was supposed to throw overhand from the outfield. Now it is better than average.
Very unique stance. Watch that front foot. Looks like it's left over from a dance class. He'll get up on his toe.
Appeal goes down to the first base umpire, Russ Getz. Said he didn't go. There's Lee.
There's Lee Walls, Captain Midnight, a teammate of mine over at Pittsburgh. Well hit down the left field line. Henderson digging hard. He's going to try for 2. He'll make it easily. So Henderson, with 2 outs, is on at second base.
Nettles does a lot of moving around at third base. He gets a signal from his shortstop and an off-speed pitch. He will move closer to the line. This is just out of his reach. We look at the line drive. Nettles doesn't get it. Nobody will. Voted the all-time Yankee third baseman in a poll by the fans. Maybe a foot out of his reach. Tremendously quick hands Nettles has.
Murphy bounced out his first time up. Takes it low, ball 1. 2 balls and no strikes.
Murphy has changed since the playoff for the Western Division. He's had trouble late in the season. He's been in somewhat of a slump, but he's brought his hands down about shoulder level. He had that bat right around his left ear just a few days ago. So he's trying to make adjustments. Look at that.
It's the strike. 2 balls and 1 strike to count.
Clyde King, his hat off, looking over the hitters coming up. Lemon and Charlie Lau, hitting authority. Billy Martin, who's managed Minnesota, Detroit, Texas, Yankees twice, Oakland A's. He's done one thing very well every place he's been. It's spelled W-I-N.
That he has done. Here's the 2-2 pitch. 3-2. The on-deck batter is Big Cliff Johnson. He bats from the right side, so Tommy John would like to get Murphy. And there you see him, Cliff Johnson. He walked him, puts him on. Murphy was second in the American League with walks. He had 73. So that brings up Johnson, who is the tying run.
The designated hitter.
Johnson with 17 home runs in the course of the year. He's had a couple of base runners on in the second, and he'd have base runners on here in the third.
Nettles at third. He bobbles in. Everybody's safe. He tried to catch the ball and step on third because it was going to be a tough play at first. And everybody is safe. The bases are loaded.
Well, you see a little bit of, not exactly Billy Ball, but the kind of speed that Ricky Henderson had. Nettles probably looking out of the corner of his eye at Henderson. Ball hits him on the heel. Joe, he might have had a better shot at Cliff Johnson at first base than at third, because Johnson, with that hard swing, that corkscrew swing, he really didn't get a good jump. Show you from another angle. Henderson coming hard. Nettles waited on the ball. The speed.
So it's an error on Greg Nettles, and that loads the bases and brings up Armas. And he's a big RBI man. He drove in 76 during the season. It is low, ball one. Armas single to right his first time up.
Man, the Yankees want to pitch around. Can't right now, can they? He can look so bad, Armas, on a pitch, and then hit one of your mistakes a long way.
Shortstop Milburn has it. Turando forces on. Yankees get out of it. So with the bases loaded, Tommy John gets a ground ball from Armas. That ends the third inning. We move to the bottom half of the third inning to score here. It's New York 3, Oakland nothing. Milburn, Winfield, and Reggie Jackson due up for New York. There are so many sights when you fly in and out of this great city. Statue of Liberty, and there's a helicopter flying over. And one of the great sights as you fly out is Yankee Stadium from overhead. And there you have a view of it. Larry Milburn, single and scored his first time up. Straight away center field. But Murphy is there. He didn't swing that hard, but as we mentioned, they play a very shallow outfield. So there's one away. Dave Winfield is the batter. And this telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball. It is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. And any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Dave Winfield. Broken bat, tried to go the opposite way. McKay has it, and Winfield is out.
Reggie Jackson coming up. Well, we talked about the George, the Billy, the Reggie show. We asked him what his opinions and all that marquee value is.
Well, Tony, I guess the media and television and radio people, most of them really lose sight of what is important. And I think if they have to write stories like that, to me, it's kind of embarrassing. If it's a Reggie, George, Billy show in fun, fine, but I want no part of any animosity, no part of anything embarrassing to anyone. If I'm concerned about Billy Martin or that kind of a show, then I'm not going to play very well on the field. I'm concerned about the Oakland A's, and that's it.
Reggie Jackson. He has played in more league championship series than any player. It's his 9th. Deep to left center field. Henderson, Murphy, and Murphy is there. That outfield can go get him. 1, 2, 3 for the Yankees. We complete 3 innings of baseball here. It's a Yankees 3 and Oakland nothing. We move to the 4th inning. Yankees, 3 runs, 2 hits, and 1 error. Oakland A's, no runs, 3 hits, no errors. And this afternoon, Tommy Lasorda and his Dodgers, 5, Montreal 1. Ball 1 on Mickey Klutz. Klutz was safe in the 1st inning. A base hit off the glove of Tommy John. Hits this one to straightaway center field. And Mumphrey says, I'll wait for it. There's 1 out.
We've talked an awful lot about the Oakland A's outfield. You don't get them any better than Dave Winfield in left. As good a throwing arm as there is. Mumphrey has exceptional speed, even though he's coming off a foot injury. And Jackson, late in the season against Milwaukee, made some outstanding plays. He has speed and he has a good throwing arm.
Here's Kelvin Moore, strike 1. Moore, born in Leroy, Alabama, where he now lives. Went to Jackson State. He was the A's number 3 pick in the June 1978 free agent draft. Ken Parker, the scout, drafted him. Down to third baseman Greg Nettles. Over to first. It is in time. Nice play.
The amazing anticipation of Greg Nettles. When Tommy John wound up before he released the ball, Nettles moved about 4 steps over to the line. It was an off-speed pitch. Or when Tommy John comes inside to try and get the ball down and into hitters, he'll move toward the line. He moved about 5 steps and the ball was off the bat. He's getting signals from Milbourne, his shortstop, because he can't see into Cerrone signs.
This is Jeff Newman hitting to a double play his first time up. Line drive right at Milbourne. So it's a perfect inning. We go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. It's the Yankees 3, Oakland nothing. And it'll be Oscar Gamble for the Yankees, Greg Nettles, and Bob Watson. George Steinbrenner, the owner of the Yankees, watching his team, who right now have a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the 4th.
I wonder which plan he's mulling over right now, plan A or plan B. Doesn't he have 2 or publicized anyway? But plan A, if they win the whole thing, will keep a lot of members of the team, and apparently a plan B, if they don't get in the World Series and win all of that, he may back up the truck and haul off a lot of pinstripes.
Whatever he has done or going to do, he's been in the playoffs. And he's here once again with his team. And this is Oscar Gamble, who walked and scored. Screwball is a strike. Oscar Gamble, he has been around. 1 ball, 1 strike. Oscar's played for the Cubs, the Phillies, Indians, White Sox, Padres, Rangers, and the Yankees twice. Balls and a strike. Well hit, but pulled foul. He got way out in front. 3-2 the count.
I cannot think of a pitcher in baseball, no matter how hard he throws, who can prevent Oscar Gamble from pulling the ball. He is so quick and has a very lively bat. He does not give you much of a target to throw at. Look at this shot. His head and hands right in the strike zone.
He got him on strikes. So Gamble called out on strikes. Doesn't believe it. It's his 2nd strikeout for Mike Norris.
Gamble on the screwball from Norris. Watch the arm action of Norris. The ball tails away. Nice job by Jeff Moon, just sneaking the ball in a little bit. He very gracefully pulled that ball back, didn't he?
So there's 1 out. Here is Nettles, who so far is a big hero. He had a double in the 1st inning with the bases loaded. Strike 1, fouls it back.
Billy will go a long time with his starting pitching. Obviously with the DH, you don't have to take him out when you're behind. But he has never had a whole lot of faith in that bullpen. He's trying to develop some youngsters. He's got Underwood down there, a kid named Beard, who's a very hard thrower. Billy and Art Fowler. The kid Beard could become important. He's young and he throws hard. He may be called out in this series.
1 ball and 2 strikes. They'll clock pitches as in a number. That's why they complete games or innings pitched. It really don't mean that much. It's how many pitches you make. Different pitchers have different ranges. Norris, it's about 115. What he averages during the ball game. Off the end of the bat, left center field. And once again, it's Murphy. It looks like there's a big gap when it starts out, but those outfielders really plug the gap in a hurry.
As this series goes along and we move to Oakland, for this speedy outfield, you've got 2 ideal parks because they're both spacious ballparks. These kids have a long way to go in the alleys here in Yankee Stadium and right and left center field. Bob Watson average that you saw was not the typical average. He is really struggling. He had a severely pulled groin muscle most of the season. Couldn't shake it.
Base hit. He hung the pitch and Watson just jumped on it. Watson hit the ball hard his first time up. Fly deep to left center field. So Watson is on and Rick Cerrone is the batter.
Rick Cerrone.
Two outs. Base runner at first, Watson. Cerrone bounced out his first time up, 3rd to 1st. Down the left field line, coming over fast, making the grab, Henderson, and what a play he made. That outfield can take more base hits away. Henderson near the line, what a play he made. Here it is.
Well, throw you back a few years, a man named Sandy Ambrose, who couldn't run like this kid nor play the outfield, and where he was playing Cerrone was shading the left center field a little bit, trying to protect the gap in left center. He just outran the ball. The ball was sinking and hooking away from him.
And you wonder if he could have made that play if he were a right-hand thrower and the glove wasn't on that hand. So, game of inches, he proved it right there. Great play. End of 4. Yankees 3, Oakland nothing.
We're back in the Bronx, New York, Yankee Stadium. We go to the top of the 5th. Game number 1 for the American League pennant. The Oakland A's versus the New York Yankees. This Yankees 3, Oakland nothing. Tommy John versus Mike Norris. A full house. Through 4, Tommy John has struck out 2, walked 1. He has had 6 ground ball outs. It'll be Dave McKay, Rob Piccolo, Ricky Henderson, the leadoff hitter.
Dave McKay.
1 ball. Yankees scored their 3 runs in the 1st inning. After a Mumphrey strikeout leading it off, a single, a walk by Winfield, Jackson. 2-hopper, Larry Milburn. Watson 1 out. And that Yankee 3-run first, Winfield with a hard slide and a possible double play ball by Jackson kept the inning going. Gamble walked. Nettles a 2-out double, scored all 3. There are your ERA leaders in the American League. McCaddy will go tomorrow for Oakland. Rudy May, who has not pitched effectively for the Yankees, will be thrown into the number 2 starting spot in ball game 2. Chop foul by Piccolo. 1 out, 3-0, Yankees lead. Nettles moved to his right, but Piccolo gets it by for a single to left field. So Piccolo is out getting some instructions from Jackie Moore. Henderson has gotten on base an awful lot. We talked to him about getting on base.
You know, I feel that, you know, that's a good compliment of people that's saying keep Ricky Henderson off the base. But, you know, I believe that Kansas City kept me off the base for 2 games in a row, and we won the ball game. So I don't believe in that all the time. If you keep me off the base, you still got to worry about 8 more batters in my lineup for us to keep me off the base.
And the A's prove that they're more than a one-dimensional ball club. It's not just Billy Ball with their league-leading 104 home runs. 1 out. Ball 1. Henderson is one hitter who does not fear hitting with 2 strikes. He has a little power. 2-0 from Tommy John. John will not give in to a hitter. He never says, here it is, hit it right down the middle. He might start a ball down the middle of the plate and it drifts right on the outside corner. Ground ball. Milburn, bad hop off his glove. Piccolo will try for third and make it. Henderson will go to second base, and he makes it. A tough hop for Larry Milburn, who's played so well, replacing Bucky Dent.
The big play is the ability of Henderson to get to second base. Here's that play once again. You see it go off the glove. Piccolo didn't hesitate, but Henderson with good speed gets down to second, and that takes away that double play situation. And obviously a base hit, and it's a 3-2 ball game.
Center fielder, Dwayne Murphy.
So now Oakland has runners on second and third with 1 out. They are trailing by 3 as Billy Martin has his number 2 hitter up, Dwayne Murphy. Ground ball to score a run. Randolph. Watson out number 2. Henderson rounds third base bag. Make sure that Watson was keeping an eye on him, so it's now 3-1. George Steinbrenner, who stormed into the clubhouse after game number 4 against the Brewers, berated Cerrone, Winfield, said that he was paying them too much money to have them make the kind of mistakes they did. So there are 2 outs, and it's Cliff Johnson who has struck out and got on by an error.
Tony, that was ruled a double all the way, a 2-base hit.
Well, that is very generous. Gene Schwartz of the San Francisco Examiner, the co-scorers of this ball game. 1 ball, no strikes to Johnson with 2 down. Milburn had to go a couple of steps to his right, and the ball might have taken a funny hop. They played Johnson to pull in the infield. Milburn shading him toward the hole. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yankee bullpen, little activity. Davis, he and the Gooseman, the big men out of that bullpen. He's up, I would say, fairly early.
With Henderson at third, Tommy John is pitching from the stretch. Hit by John, but positioned perfectly as Willie Randolph fires to Watson. They strand Henderson, but they do come up with 1 run. So in the middle of the 5th here in Yankee Stadium for the American League pennant, it is the New York Yankees 3, the Oakland A's 1. Due up, Randolph, Mumphrey, and Larry Milburn for the Yankees. Joe Garagiola, Tony Kubek, along with our super stat man Steve Dans, back in Yankee Stadium for the bottom of the 5th, where the Yankees lead 3-1. Mike Norris. I think it's a strange thing last year. Not so much that Mike Norris did not win the Cy Young Award last year in the American League. He was 22-9. But the fact is strange that 3 writers who cast ballots never had Norris's name on the ballot.
That is very difficult.
That is strange.
Can't understand that.
Oakland with 1 run, 5 hits, no errors. The Yankees 3 runs, 3 hits, 1 error. Be Willie Randolph, who fly to right center field. A good catch by Murphy. 3 balls, 1 strike for Willie Randolph. 3-2. Randolph says that almost all year long, he said, it's been a strange year. I have hit the ball hard. So I've experienced months of hitting the ball hard, not getting it. He got him. Mike Norris changes speeds as Randolph way out in front, 1 out.
Here's a swing. You can see that Randolph,
The center fielder,
he's way out in front,
Jerry
just
Humphrey.
misses it completely full.
Strikeout number 3 for Mike Norris. He walked 2, both of those in the first inning. Now it's Jerry Humphrey as Klutz moves in at third base looking for a bunt. Who say Clyde Klutz? Like Clyde, it's Mickey Klutz. Fouled out of play. 1 strike. Look out, Mike. Gold Glove winner. He pounces on the ball. He will not get him. Boy, that ball hit right back at the face of Mike Norris. He was a 1980 Gold Glove winner for fielding.
You'll see the play. Watch the reaction. Now, once he goes down, he doesn't stay down. The good athlete that he is, he literally ends up on the other side of first base. Now, he'll pick up the ball, and here's another look at it. Watch the reaction, and he just keeps going once the ball gets by the first baseman. Moore. It was there you see Norris in your picture as Moore couldn't come up with the ball, and now Piccolo's just in talking to him, just kind of settling down with 1 out here. Billy Martin looking on.
And Mumphrey is stealing base stealing threat right here. Milbourne has pretty good bat control. 1 out. Klutz has come way up at third base once again. The infielders telling Mike Norris who's going to take the throw, and the ball hit back to him. Pitch out. Billy Martin called the pitch out from the bench. They thought that Bob Lemon might have had a steal or hit and run going. Mumphrey stole 13 bases in 1981. He was caught 9 times. Injured a good part of the year with a foot injury. 1-0. He's going. Swing. Here comes the throw from Newman. He is out. Now an argument. Joe Altobelli will come out. Mumphrey thought he had the corner of the bag as he tried to slide away from the throw.
After the pitch out, they start him. He's got a pretty good jump. You see him looking at the batter, try to find that ball. Now let's see, what do you think?
Didn't look like he tagged it from that angle, but we'll give you another one that may give you a better view. Tagged him after his hand if he did, after his hand was on the bag. He slides away from the ball. That is Jerry Neudecker, the second base umpire. He never missed him, did he?
He never tagged him.
Piccolo goes back for the second tag, and that was the proof. He tagged him when his hand was on the bag. It was an awfully difficult call.
That's the one that shows it right here. Now watch, he misses his hand.
Watch him go back.
Now he'll go back and try to get him again.
All right, on a 2-ball, 1 strike count with 2 outs. Milbourne lines a single to right. A good camera work, guys.
I think Mumphrey had a legitimate beef there because Piccolo missed the tag and went back the second time to get him. It was a good slide.
Newman is now throwing out 4 in a row going back to the Kansas City series.
Watch Piccolo's hand now. It's behind Mumphrey. Now he'll go back and try to make it. There he goes, going to make the tag now. Right there. He knew he missed him, and he was a little bit surprised.
Well, apparently Jerry Neudecker, you can see by that, is saying he tagged you on the arm as you went by the first time. There are 2 outs. Yankees 3, Oakland 1. Dave Winfield, who has walked, hit into a fielder's choice. Murphy and a broken bat will get it for out number 3. So the Yankees strand a runner, number 3 on the ball game after 5 here in Yankee Stadium for the American League pennant. It is the Yankees 3, the Oakland A's 1. It'll be Armas, Mickey Klutz, Calvin Moore due up for the A's. We'll go to the 6th here in Yankee Stadium. Yankees 3, Oakland 1. Tommy John, who's won several awards. For the Comeback Player of the Year award. An award I think cherished to a lot of people in baseball, and a player who gets it. And late Fred Hutchinson, a dear friend of yours, Joe.
The right fielder.
It'll be Armas, Klutz, and Moore. Armas single to right field, grounded out to short. Some people feel this man will be MVP in the American League. Fouled out of play by Armas. A couple of his contenders will be Bobby Grich from the Angels. A good year unnoticed. Ricky Henderson, I would think. Dwight Evans up in Boston. And you might even see some votes for Raleigh Fingers of the Brewers, who helped turn that club around out of the bullpen. 1 strike to Armas. Good sinker from Tommy John. He goes 0-2. Stays away. Look out. He gets Armas. Goes after a bad pitch. 1 out. You had better be disciplined against Tommy John.
He just can't hold that bat, and out it goes.
The third baseman.
There's another look at the same pitch now. It's way out of the strike zone, and Armas just thought he could get it and couldn't even hold on to his bat.
Strikeout number 3, Tommy John. Now it's Klutz. 1 ball, no strikes. Each team has 5 hits. The Yankees lead 3-1. We're in the 6th. Base hit up the middle for Klutz. His second hit of the ball game. While we have a chance, we're going to pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
Kelvin Moore.
Moore, the youngster, was 0 for 8 against Kansas City, the Western Division title. 1-1. Ron Davis once again. Up awfully early, but he's been a pretty good middle relief man. Some say the best middle relief man in baseball. Milburn, a lot of time getting rid of the ball, but they still turn the double play. So it's a 6-4, 3 if you're scoring. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th in Yankee Stadium, with the Yankees leading over the A's by the score of 3-1. Reggie Jackson will lead off the bottom of the 6th for the Yankees against Norris. We posed a tough question to him. Does he consider George Steinbrenner an ally or an enemy of the Yankees?
George Steinbrenner is an ally. He does a lot of things that I don't necessarily agree with, and his ways are definitely unique. I'm very fortunate, I think, Tony, the fact that I'm 35 years of age, I've been in the game 15 years, and a lot of the things that George does don't bother me or don't create a certain kind of a reaction, or at least a negative one. Like I said, there's a lot of things that George does that I don't like. But man owns the ball club. He has the right pretty much to do what he feels like doing. As I said, I thought his timing was wrong at the time. But I think on the other side, I appreciate the fact that I've been able to play on great Yankee ball clubs, and he's put the players on the field. So for all the negatives you can say about him, there's just as many positives.
Big swing by Jackson. Count goes 1 ball and 1 strike. Check swing. Great play by Norris as he backhands it. 1 out.
What a play he made. He made a good play on the last one. Didn't get the man, but this one, Gold Glove winner. You'll get another look at it. Watch the reaction. Superb athlete. Backhands the ball. Down he goes. In control.
One out. We're at the bottom of the 6th. 3-1. The Yankees lead over the A's. Best of 5 for the American League pennant. The A's beat the Kansas City Royals 3 straight to get here. The Yankees had to fight off the Milwaukee Brewers in 5 ball games. Oscar Gamble takes it inside, 1 ball. Mr. October, he's been dubbed. He's 0 for 3 in the ball game thus far, although he did beat out an important ground ball to prevent a double play, fouled off. Jackson stole a base in this game. 1-1. 2-1 to Gamble. Screwball hit the left field, but it'll go foul. Billy Martin, since spring training, has alternated his shortstop, which is very unusual. Every other day he plays either Piccolo or Stanley. He's created kind of a competition. Billy there behind Art Fowler. Fowler, the man who every one of these A's credits with teaching him how to win, how to pitch. What a screwball. Perfect pitch again. He gets Gamble. the second time, this time swinging.
The third baseman, Gray Nettles.
Strikeout number 4. Nettles with a double, 3 RBIs in the first. He flied to center field in the fourth. Norris pulls the string. Norris coming over to help out Newman in case he needs it. To the Yankee dugout, he doesn't get it. Calvin Moore and Norris were both over to help.
Newman had that ball all the way until he heard Moore coming over there. And he's got it right now. He knows he can make that play. He wants to see how close he is to the stands. He's still got it. Now he'll back off. As soon as he heard Moore coming over. See him find the stands? He's still got it right here. He knows he's going to make the play. And now he'll back off.
There is no breeze whatsoever in this ballpark, so relatively no wind factor, if any.
This is obviously, as you look at the pitcher's ballpark, Yankees in their long history have only had 6 batting champions. They haven't had one since 1956, and Rod Carew has more than the Yankees as far as batting titles. It's amazing. All the good hitters have been here. I know it's a pitcher's park, but that almost borders on the ridiculous.
I think one of the reasons, Joe, is when they stacked their, they looked for left-handed hitters, obviously, with power. They did even more so when it was 296 down the line. So they want guys to pull the ball. And as soon as you start pulling the ball, your average is bound to go down. It's the straightaway hitters who lead the league. Chopper, Moore will flip to Norris. Good play on both ends. So the Yankees are retired in the 6th. 1-2-3 by Mike Norris. We'll go to the 7th with the score: Yankees 3, Oakland 1. It'll be Newman, McKay, and Piccolo. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
It's one of my bigger days. Let me buy a beer. Sure. These fans, I love them. When I came in, they didn't recognize me at first, but then when I told them who I was, next thing you know, they're buying me my favorite beer, light beer from Miller. They know us ex-big leaguers drink light because it's got a third less calories than their regular beer. It's less filling, and it tastes great. Thanks. Hey, it's a pleasure to buy a beer for a great pitcher like Whitey Ford. Hey. So I lied.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Hey, Whitey, I thought you were a lefty. Oh, that's right.
Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek here at Yankee Stadium. These Yankee fans whooping it up here as they lead the Oakland A's 3-1. We have a new pitcher on the mound. Charlie Metro, the scout there, that big cowboy hat, can see the silhouette. Ron Davis is a new pitcher. Davis 4-5 on the year, an earned run average of 2.71, was in 43 games, pitched 73 innings, struck out 83, walked 25. Davis has been kind of lobbying for a new statistic in baseball, and I'm kind of on his side. That's the middle relief pitcher who comes in and holds the other ball club for the star, in this particular case, Goose Gossage, to come out and nail it down. And many times that happens, you hold the other ball club, especially in the losing game. The team will tie, go ahead, and the relief pitcher who comes in to nail it down gets a credit. So Davis, I think, has got a good point, Tony.
He certainly does. He does not get the recognition he probably should. He's still making good money. He may be the, well, he's a very high-paid relief pitcher. He's the man who Stan Williams, when he was the pitching coach, changed from a sinker ball pitcher. That's Keith Drumright, who was going to pinch hit a left-handed hitter. He was injured after he'd had a good start for this ball club.
Number 14, Keith Drumright.
Drumright, a 291 average in 31 ball games. He is a singles hitter. He didn't have a home run. He had 1 triple, 1 double, 25 base hits.
Hits the ball to left field on occasion.
There's his strike. 3 runs, 5 hits, and 1 error for the Yankees. 1 run, 6 hits, and no errors for Oakland. We're in the 7th inning. Ron Davis in relief of Tommy Johns. 1 ball and 1 strike is the count.
When Stan Williams made Davis, I think, a more effective pitcher, he said, stop throwing that 2-seam fastball, go to 4 seams. You throw hard enough that you can blow the ball by guys. So he came up with the sinking fastball, and then he started throwing that riser, and he put together some strings of strikeouts which were just unbelievable during the season. He'll get it up to 94, 95. Gossage, of course, approaches 100 at times.
Towards the left field line, Winfield coming in near the line, makes the catch. So there's one away in the 7th inning, and it brings up McKay.
Joe, in most ballparks, they put the best outfielder in center field, but this outfield in left field, especially in day baseball where the sun shines into your eyes, could be as tough an outfielders in baseball, so they put Winfield, their best outfielder, in left field.
Strike one. McKay hit .291, batting left-handed, .234 from the right side.
Left-handed, he hits the ball to left field on occasion, although lately has pulled the ball a little bit, but basically toward left field. Right-handed, he's pretty much of a pull hitter.
The one strike pitch by Davis. 2 strikes. This crowd, after the 3-run first inning, kind of just sat back. Now they're starting to react as we come into the 7th inning. Oakland trailing by 2. Foul ball out of play. The Dodgers beat Montreal 5-1. Houghton was the winner and Gullickson was the loser. We'll be back out here tomorrow afternoon.
Like Houston going to the Dodger Stadium, that is a snake pit for visiting teams. Houston lost 14-16.
So there are 2 away. First strikeout for Ron Davis. That's a 4th Oakland A to go down. Piccolo with 2 outs and nobody on. Piccolo struck out in the 3rd. He singled and scored the only run. That came in the 5th. He singled after 1 man out. A double by Henderson off the glove of the shortstop. Put Piccolo at 3rd base, and he scored on a ground ball by Murphy. And it's ball 1. Yankees scored their 3 runs after 1 out. Milburn singled, Dave Winfield walked, Reggie Jackson into a force play, Gamble walked, and Nettles doubled. Foul ball out of play. And Gamble scored all the way from first, 3 RBIs for Nettles, and that's how we stand. 3-1 Yankees over Oakland, 2 outs in the 7th.
And if there's an obvious difference in the 2 pitching staffs, you're seeing it now, the experience of a Davis. And if he gets in trouble, you can go to a Gossage. That bullpen is a big difference, I think. Could tell the difference in this series.
1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Struck him out. 1, 2, 3. And there is Sally John, who saw her husband pitch 6 tough innings and leave with a 3-1 lead. And we're in the bottom of the 7th inning. That's the score. Yankees 3, Oakland 1. And it'll be Bob Watson, Rick Cerrone, and Willie Randolph.
That box behind home plate you're looking at are 4 members of the Yankees scouting team who followed this Oakland A's team for about a month. Man to your left lower corner is Gary Hughes. The fellow with the glasses scratching his face is Bob Neiman. Jerry Walker, a former pitcher and part-time pitching coach, is up in the left. And a kid who throws batting practice, Doug Melvin, who has kept those charts for 3 years. They know every tendency. They know what time they get up and what time they eat breakfast. You can over-scout, of course, but boy, they've got everything down to a science. Steinbrenner has done that, I will say that.
Yeah, he's kept the scouting system going, and it helps sometimes, but Custer knew what they ate, what time they got up. There's just too many of them. Mike Heath is behind the plate. I tell you, this ballpark is buzzing. I have to tell you, our good friends from Real People were all over the ballpark. John Barber, Skip Stevenson, and Bill Rafferty with the camera crew. They're filming a special for around Thanksgiving, and we're filming everybody about. In fact, Richie Phillips, they said to him, "What are umpires?" He said, "Umpires are real people too." So you'll see the special around Thanksgiving, but this ballpark, there's a real people.
Has he taken off a few pounds?
Yes, sir. Volunteer fireman down in Texas.
He was a very important man to a pretty good football player, Billy Sims. He took Billy under his wing, kept him out of trouble.
So we're ready to go here. And it's a fastball over the outside corner for strike 1. Bob Watson flied to center and single to left. Line drive, left field. He doesn't get it. Henderson. The ball knuckled out there, and Watson is on, and let's see how they rule it. It looked like he was going to be able to make the play. and it knuckled out there, and he just didn't get it.
That ball is sinking hard. Many times in this part of the ballpark, on a looping line drive like that, there can be a problem with the lights. He battled the lights, I believe, Joe, and battled them right down to the ground, and the ball just caroms off the heel of his glove. Going down as he did will give you an indication of a problem with the lights. And as you said, a sinking knuckleball, it appears. And have a pinch runner, I believe, for Bobby Watson down at first base. That's a tribute to their bullpen right there.
They're giving him an error. So Watson, an error, and Bobby Brown will be the runner, and Mike Ferraro talking to him, and I'm sure he'll be just reaffirming the signs that Altobelli obviously has given to Cerrone already.
Well, you would think that Bob Lemon, the Yankee manager, would try and pad his lead. Brown has speed. Set up a bunt situation. Klutz is looking for it at third. Norris is an excellent fielder, as we've seen.
Takes it low, ball one. Norris, as you saw, breaking towards first base, expecting Cerrone to bunt towards the youngster Moore.
Now, with a lot of infielders moving around, with a hitter ahead, there is the possibility of the switch being put on. Cerrone pulls the ball well. They may give him the hit. Let's see.
Bunting.
Good.
Beautiful bunt. Norris will make the play to first, and McKay, sacrifice executed perfectly. Boy, that's a beautiful play when it's worked right.
Cerrone picks his man right. He knows he can't bunt on Klutz. He goes to the youngster Moore, who has to hold the runner on first before he can leave. Show you how good a fielder Norris is. He got way over to the foul line on that.
So there's one out. Here's Willie Randolph. Randolph flied to center field in his second. He struck out in the fifth. Struck out on the screwball. Klutz is still moving in close at third. Line down the left field line, foul. Why would Klutz be playing that close, Tony?
Well, I would guess because of Randolph's speed. He's been in pretty much of a season-long slump. Possibly the scouting reports compiled for the Oakland A's on the Yankees by Dale Wilbert tells them that to get out of the slump, Randolph has been dropping the bunt down a little bit. So they're looking at tendencies and what guys might do over the long haul.
One strike to count. Now he's backing up at third.
Look out.
Inside. One ball and one strike with one out. Right to the shortstop. They're going to third. They got him. It was close. But Bobby Brown is out. Piccolo to Klutz.
Bad base running by Bobby Brown. He got carried away. Ball it to the left side. Give a little credit, of course, to Piccolo, who throws over the top of the runner. I'll tell you, that tag was there, but from that angle it appeared that he slid under the tag. Very close play for third base umpire Marty Springstad. Here's another angle for you. Klutz had to go up and then come down. Altobelli is signaling safe, as you can tell, but he didn't really argue a lot. Not very good base running, though, Joe.
If ball's hit to that side, you got to make sure you're going to make it. You can't make it close. And there's nothing the coach can do unless he's got a rope or a gun, because you're on your way and he's as surprised as anybody. So there are two outs. Base runner is on at first. Willie Randolph. He's a threat. 3-1. Yankees lead the Oakland A's in the seventh. Pitch out. They thought he was going. Heath is thrown out 20 of 58. Attempting to steal this season. But some scouts say he had the best season of any catcher throwing. He's got a good arm. If he gets a chance to air it out, he'll show you something. It's a strike. Catching base stealers and attempts and all that, there's statistics you keep, but unless you know what the pitcher does as far as holding them on, useless. Fireworks have just gone off in right field. In the stands.
And that is dangerous. Dangerous enough in an open field. Kind of guys who do that, you like to have them caught and fined and thrown in jail for a couple days.
Billy Martin's coming out. They're throwing things from all over. You see they're collecting them between third and home.
Somebody got hit in the back out there. Is that Armas who's holding his left side? He's standing in short right field, and something hit him in the back.
The trainer, Joe Romo's coming out now. There you see Armas.
That is a valuable piece of property. A couple of kooks out of 50,000 people. Saw Kaiser got hit in the face with something. So a man jump out and tackle an umpire with a blackjack in his pocket over the last few days.
It's getting more brazen. They certainly shooting fireworks off in the stands. The IQ's got to be about 2 when you do that. Kind of people that if you couldn't put them away, but if they were in, they certainly couldn't get out. And throwing things, Armas was hit. We remember earlier Dave Parker, Tony mentioned about the blackjack incident. Billy has a baseball like somebody threw a base. It is. Very disruptive, no question about it.
He wants to talk to the crew chief, third base umpire Marty Springstead, who he has just beckoned over from third base to have a conversation with.
It's Marty Springstead, the crew chief. Billy making the point. It's just a shame that that kind of thing goes on at the ballpark. You got a packed house.
As in every case, the umpires get put in the middle. They're being asked, obviously, by Billy to do something, but what can you do? You cannot zero in on the man. Mr. Steinbrenner walked to the top of the box, I'm sure, in disgust. Well, when you got volatile people in the game, at times it carries over.
So the situation here, we are in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's 1 ball and 1 strike, 2 outs. Yankees leading 3-1, bottom of the 7th. Randolph is a base runner at first. Mumphrey is the batter. Popped up. Picholo says, I'll take it. Picholo makes the play. So that ends the 7th inning. At the end of 7 full innings, the score here, the Yankees 3, Oakland 1. And in the 8th inning, it'll be the top of the lineup for the Oakland A's. Ricky Henderson, Dwayne Murphy, and Cliff Johnson. Be another big day tomorrow. McCaddy will work for Oakland and Rudy May for the Yankees. Game 2, first is at 2 o'clock Eastern time. Then the Expos and the Dodgers in prime time going for that National League pennant. And Fernando Valenzuela is the Dodger pitcher. So that's tomorrow, a big day right here on NBC, the home of great baseball. George Steinbrenner looking on and more worried, I'm sure, strike 1, about the incident in the stands. We've got another incident down along the left field line. And what he's done here in this ballpark, strike 2, he has beefed up the security. But it's most difficult to patrol this when you got him in the ballpark. But he has added security. Dave Revering, the first baseman.
Well, you know, it would be an extreme possibility, but there are rules in the book that say if the hometown fans continue this kind of thing and disrupt the play on the field, and obviously won't happen in this postseason play, but there are forfeits that can be called by umpires.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Henderson, bounced out. As we look at Armas, who was hit by a baseball apparently while he was in the outfield. Foul back.
Along with Mike Davis to his right, Armas. There's tomorrow's starting pitcher, upper top of your screen, Steve McCaddy, sitting next to Art Fowler.
1 ball and 2 strikes. He struck him out. Davis gets 3 strikeouts in a row.
Tell you, to right-handed hitters, when Davis drops down and throws that crossfire, one of the most feared pitchers in baseball, obviously, is Gossage for right-handed hitters. Davis might be number 2.
Here is Dwayne Murphy. Ball 1. Davis struck out 9 in a row earlier this season, which is a major league record for relievers. He has 3 in a row here. Did not go around, says the umpire at third, and now Bob Lemon's going to argue that's Marty Springstead. Lemon reacted to that. Springstead. Arms folded. Did he go around?
We'll have you look at it. You have to pull the trigger awfully quickly. You bet he did. It's one of those things you got to wonder too if the umpires, in trying to look into the stands, get their attention distracted by the things that are going on also.
2-1 pitch outside. It is 3-1. Davis doesn't waste any time. Now Murphy backs out.
Joe, I would think that Bob Lemon would like to try and save Gossage for one more day, because he did have a little upper back. It's behind his arm, a little tightness, and he went to a few breaking balls against Milwaukee.
Walked him. So Murphy is on. 3-1 is the score. That brings a tying run to the plate, and Cliff Johnson. Johnson, as you well know, he has one thing in mind when he walks up to the hit it hard and hit it far.
And he'll narrow that out even more now, knowing that he's the guy who can get this team back in the ball game. We'll probably look for at least one pitch inside, as tough as that is to do off a guy like Davis who throws that hard. He'll be looking to pull off the bat if he can get around.
He popped it straight up. He had a cut straight up back here, and strike 1.
Watch the hips fly open. It indicates that Johnson's trying to get out in front a little more and pull the ball, but he was still a little bit late on it, Joe. Still got in on it. Tribute to the Davis speed.
Also that sidearm motion, it's just tough as Billy Martin looks on. 1 strike, 1 out. Murphy, the base runner at first. Outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. And Cerrone really took one right off the mask. And boy, you just check for all the parts there. That's about the time after the game you go in and get about 154 game checkup. Let me see. I still got my ears. I still got my nose. Watch it go off that mask.
Whoop! A fastball that really sailed. Here it is again. Watch it swivel ahead of Cerrone right around. He is such a tough kid. He played with injuries last year, drove in almost 90 runs, was out this year with a hand injury, but he's been playing lately.
Johnson is just going to fool around and hope to settle his crowd down. That's one way of doing it. Now the umpire, Nick Bremigan, is going to say you're going to have to hit sometime.
That's a new rule that was put in the league. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, about making all those trips for the pine tar rag, which umpires deemed to be unnecessary. Tried to speed up the game.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Foul ball down the left field line.
Davis has not yet thrown Johnson a breaking pitch.
Cerrone, you can see working on that neck. That's one of those, another one of those nicks that you get behind the plate that you can't tell anybody about, but it just doesn't feel good. He wants to get a new bat. Now he's going to check the bat now.
Well, Cliff Johnson saying the bat may be checking, splitting in the grain. Wants to go back and change it. They're having a discussion about it, whether he can or whether he can't. You don't see that? Mike Goodwood is not so good, so Cliff Johnson does a sales job on Nick Bremigan. he's going to be able to change.
Now he's going to show it to Billy.
Remember the days when you got 3 bats for the rest of the year? You better make the best of them. Now guys get bats a couple of dozen at a time, 17 different models, 8 different weights and lengths.
Cliff Johnson taking the role of the villain wrestler here. The crowd reacting to him. Billy is just sitting there watching the action, hoping that his big guy can tie it up with one swing. He's really working the crowd. Listen. He may get thrown out of the game, and here comes Lemon. He wants to know what's going on.
Well, like Goose Gossage, Ron Davis likes to work quick. And Johnson tried to slow his pace down. Lemon is saying right now, looks like he's punching a stopwatch. He's saying there's a rule in the book that you can put that watch on a pitcher, make him throw within a certain amount of time, although it's never enforced. Let's get that clock on the hitter, too.
He's going to motion to get in there and hit, get in there and pitch, and let's go. Now Ron Davis is really upset, and once again, we got a little hype going. Here comes Nettles to settle his pitcher down, and Johnson has accomplished what he started out.
You can read Davis's lips. He said, I've been standing out there for 5 minutes while he changed his bat, and now you're telling me to hurry up, and now Lem's going to come back out. Be restrained by Springstead, and Springstead saying if you cross the foul line and go out to the pitcher's circle, I'm going to charge you with a trip to the mound. You only get 2 in an inning to each pitcher. The gamesmanship goes on. Started by Johnson, and Billy sitting back. You think this is part of BillyBall that rubs off on some of his players?
The interesting thing here is that they can't run out the clock. I mean, Johnson's going to have to get in there and try to hit.
Meantime, the bullpen is going for Bob Lemon. The Goose, Rick Gossard.
One ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. Almost a wild pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Johnson really got him riled up. Murphy is still at first base.
It almost is unfair, though, to have a pitcher have to stay out there that long.
Ball 3. Well, now, Jackie Moore at first base. He's talking to his base runner Murphy, and Cerrone wants to talk to his pitcher Davis. Johnson is a strikeout man. Cerrone with a good arm, so you would think that he'd be holding at first base.
Well, especially with a man in the on-deck circle, Armas.
Right.
You get a strikeout throw-off, Armas leads off the inning with nobody on base, and he could put you back in the ballgame in a hurry.
So we'll see what Billy does. Lead by Murphy. He's holding. Walked him. So it all worked. And a tying run is now on at first base. And the big man for the Oakland A's, Armas, is the batter.
The right fielder, Tony Armas.
The last pitch from Davis to Johnson, 3-2 that walked him. Well, may have rattled him, although I think Davis has been in enough tough situations before this time not to let it affect him.
Yep.
Now Martin's coming out to talk to the umpire about stalling by the pitcher. He wants the home plate umpire Bremigan to go out there and break up the conference. Well, at least the action is down on the field.
One out.
Here comes Lem. He's going to make a change. Goose got enough time to get loose. With all the stalling, it doesn't take Rich Gossage very long.
Well, this is the kind of thing that they were talking about. Billy is now upset more. It's the most animation you've seen so far. And now Bob Lemon, as George Steinbrenner continues to look on. Lemon stopped to talk to the home plate umpire, and he's going to make a pitching change. The Goose will come in, the crowd will react. Time runs are on. 3-1 is the score. Yankees are out in front. We're in the 8th. Tony Armas is the batter. You're looking at Ron Davis, who has just been taken out. Davis was sailing right along in the 7th inning. 1-2-3, struck out 2, then he struck out the first man. And then this is the end of the inning. He's really letting Nick Bremigan have a piece of his mind, among other things. And then you saw him seated on the bench. The Gooses come in. Armas is the batter. First and second. High and tight. Now, Gossage likes to work fast, and Randolph is going to come in and talk to him. So in the final analysis, if Cliff Johnson's job was to aggravate and agitate, he did a perfect job because Davis is gone. Time runs are on, and the big man is in the batter's box. Foul straight back. 1-1.
So Cliff Johnson showed him how to play Billy Ball without even putting the ball in play, didn't he? And if it serves no other purpose, with no off days, if they should go 5, it means that Gossage is forced in to work in his first game. He had a little pull muscle, as we told you, a muscle spasm in his shoulder, threw a few more breaking balls and was wild against Milwaukee.
1 ball, 2 strikes. The executive box where George Steinbrenner has been most of the night. Listen to the crowd with Goose. High hopper, Randolph. In time. Johnson with the rolling block doesn't get Randolph, so they're 2 away. Base runners at first and third.
Cliff Johnson, there was almost a mix-up here. Nobody went to the bag, and then the race begins for Randolph. He beats Cliff Johnson. You can see Randolph. He wasn't worried about the runner in first. Look where he's looking, toward third base with Murphy's speed. It's another part of Billy Ball you better watch out for. They keep on going on you.
So we've got Wayne Gross coming out now.
Your attention, please.
Replacing Mickey Klutz.
Ladies and gentlemen, batting for Klutz, number 10.
You see Cliff Johnson.
Gross, number 10.
Wayne Gross, who had a big home run in the Kansas City game.
Well, Bremigan's going to talk to him now.
Billy has got it going now, and now the third base coach Boyer is arguing with Springstead. No pitch, nothing is the count. There you see Boyer at third. Strike 1.
When a guy works as fast as Goose and throws as hard as he does, and the same with Davis, you got to be a little bit careful that you don't get caught in the middle of a swing, that you don't have your feet set in the box. Look, he's waiting to get his sign already from Cerrone, and the hitter right now is asking for time until he gets set.
Willie Randolph. And the A's are retired. So we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. The score here, it's the Yankees 3, Oakland 1. It'll be Milburn, Winfield, and Jackson here in the bottom of the 8th.
$55,740 in the ballpark tonight. And in right field, as we look at the wide shot of this great Yankee Stadium, the groundskeepers have been busy picking up. Most of the time, it's been money they tell us being thrown out there, but we've had some ugly incidents. As we look at Wayne Gross, the new third baseman, Armas was hit by a thrown baseball, fireworks going off in the stands. Reggie staying pinstripes.
Joe, I think it's interesting the way the hitters in that last inning tried the stalling tactic, starting with Johnson stepping out on Davis.
There were men on base in those situations. Now, both Davis and Gossage can be very conveniently wild. And I'm not saying they're going to throw at anybody, but as this thing moves along, as we look at Fowler and Martin, Steve McCaddy, the starting pitcher tomorrow, they may move some hitters off the plate and try an intimidation factor in return as this series progresses. And I'm not saying they're going to try and hit anybody.
Well, I've seen it happen. I remember Sally Hemus fouling off 15 pitches and Walker Cooper saying to him, "You want to get on that bad?" And Spahn hit him right in the ribs. And it's an aggravating, agitating, I guess it's part of Billy Ball. He got the job done. A base hit by Milburn on the first pitch by Norris. He's on. It's the kind of a series that you would expect these two teams to play, to do everything within the rules to win.
Milburn is the guy who, after Dent went out with a fractured bone in his hand, everybody said he's a utility player who can give you about a week's, 10 days of good work. He's been doing it for over a month, and he really hasn't faltered. With the bat, he's been very steady with the glove.
Winfield walked in the first inning, bounced out, second to first in the third, line to the center fielder in the fifth. There he goes. It's popped up in the short center field. Right center. Armas is coming in. Makes the play.
Heath was coming out of the box for an attempted throw in case Winfield swung at the pitch and missed. And watch what happened. 6'6" Winfield on a hit and run. You can see Heath coming forward to throw. Now he's trying his go in a little collision. Incidental contact. Oh, Winfield didn't treat him too easily, did he?
I tell you that Heath showed me something. Even though he didn't have the ball, he was in position to throw, so he was ready, and he would have had to make a tremendous throw because Milburn had an outstanding jump on the pitcher Norris. So once again, those steals and caught stealing statistics sometimes can be misleading. He would have needed the gun to get Milburn going in the second. Here's Jackson. Down the left field line. Coming over hard is Henderson, and doesn't have room.
I think the thing, Joe, about Reggie Jackson, that shows now we're going to have a trip out to the mound by Billy Martin. Norris, maybe to ask how his arm is. He's been really holding that elbow and rubbing it. I think he's having problems with it. He's hurt.
He's
going to be a blow.
He's going to make a change. Marty is getting Springstead, and he looks like he's motioning for the left-hander, Underwood.
He stiffened up with a long time he spent in the dugout while the delaying tactics were going on. And he did throw an awful lot of pitches, especially in inning number 1 when he walked 2 Yankees and they got all 3 of their runs.
So we've got a break in the action here as the new pitcher comes in. So we'll break away and be right back after these messages. The Yankees, as you see, a 3-1 lead. They got those 3 runs in the first inning after Jerry Mumphrey struck out. Milburn singled to right. Winfield walked, and Reggie Jackson hit a ground ball to the second baseman. Winfield charging hard. Really put some pressure on the shortstop. They couldn't get Jackson. It was a forced play. Gamble walked, and with the bases loaded, Nettles doubled the left center field to drive in 3 runs. That's been the Yankee scoring. Oakland scored in the 5th after 1 out. Piccolo singled to left. He went to third on a double by Henderson and scored as Dwayne Murphy bounced out to the second baseman. Now you're looking at Milburn at first base. The new pitcher is Underwood. The batter is Reggie Jackson. Down he goes, ball 1. We've had all kinds of extracurricular activities in case you're just joining us. It was a delaying tactics. You see Billy Martin, master of the Billy Ball. With Murphy on, Cliff Johnson took about a week and a half to bat. Ended up with Ron Davis getting wild. He finally had to leave the game. Goose Gossage has come on. And the time that Johnson took forced Norris out of the game. Looked like he stiffened up. Jackson, 2 balls and a strike. So when these 2 teams get together, you expect a lot. And we've had it so far tonight, and we look forward again tomorrow. It'll be McCaddy for Oakland. It'll be Rudy May for the Yankees. It's 2 o'clock Eastern time, and then tomorrow night, the Dodgers and Expos go at it again. Jackson fouls it off. Dodgers won today, 5-1. So there'll be plenty of baseball here on NBC tomorrow.
Tom Underwood, a tough pitcher, like his catcher Mike Heath, both formerly Yankees. Underwood's always been somewhat of an enigma to a lot of clubs as to why he's not more successful, Joe. Has a good fastball, curve, slider, pretty good change of pace. Gets behind hitters.
It's high. 3-2. Lou Piniella has come out of the on-deck circle. He'll be the hitter for Oscar Gamble. There you see him. Lemon got him out there in a hurry.
He hasn't been announced yet, so he's not officially in the game.
Milburn's running. Ball 4. Jackson walks. Milburn is second. Lou Piniella will be the batter. You'll hear the fans with Lou.
Piniella, when he is announced, Billy may make a change and go to the youngster Beard, give him some experience early. We'll see.
Your attention, please. Ladies and gentlemen, batting for Gamble, number 14, Lou Piniella.
Well,
number 14.
Teams try and pitch Reggie Jackson up and in. Underwood came close on the first one. We'll show it to you again. Jackson, who finally got upset this year, and a little talk with his pitching staff, saying, I've been knocked down around here for several years, and nobody ever retaliates.
Piniella, good hitter. Earl Weaver gives him a lot over at Baltimore. Weaver says Piniella will go to his grave looking for a curveball and lining a single to right. There's a single to right. Here comes Milburn trying to score. Here's the throw. Got him. A beautiful tag by Heath, but we're going to have an argument. Here comes Altobelli, and now here comes Bob Lemon. And Altobelli can't understand how he could call him out. Heath, with his foot, blocked the plate, although the Yankees think he got in.
What a magnificent throw by Tony Armas, who possesses as good a throwing arm as there is in baseball. This is the cutoff man, but look at the carry on this ball. Watch the left foot of Heath. Planted for the runner. He says he didn't touch the plate. Here it is from another angle. We should be able to tell better from this, Joe. Heath plants that foot, takes the plate away. Home plate umpire. McBrenigan says you slid right over the plate with your foot. What a beautiful throw and a beautiful job of blocking the plate.
So, a throw by Armas, a tag by Heath. And the Yankees do not get the run. There are 2 outs. And now Piniella.
Somebody threw something on the field there. He is going out to get, along with Mike Ferrara, the first base coach. Apparently he doesn't want the money.
Piniella singles to right. Jackson stops at second. And Greg Nettles is the batter. There are 2 outs. Fastball is high. Ball 1. Ball 2. 3 balls and no strikes. Breaking ball. Bases are loaded. Dave Remmering is the scheduled hitter. Jackson making sure it's ball 4. So he moves on over to third. Piniella goes to second. Nettles is on at first.
Baseman, Dave Remmering.
Remmering had a .233 batting average for 1981. 4 home runs. He drove in 17 runs. He's up there with the bases loaded. 2 outs. 2-2 pitch. Nice play by Heath. Oh, he saved a run. He was like a hockey goalie. He took that right off the groin. Take my word for it. I mean, this is a vicious 55-footer, and he just stays in front of it. Look at that. Down he goes. What a play he made.
He's the one guy that Billy Martin wanted to get. Heath, property of the Yankees at one time. One of the things in that Yankee scouting report said that one of the most improved phase of this Oakland game is in catching.
3-2 pitch, runners go, it's popped up. Moore in foul territory, does he have room? Misjudged it, but makes the play. Ended up a foul ball. The umpire called it foul. The umpire down the right field line, Vic Voltaggio. At any rate, the inning is over, although it looks like he's in fair territory when he finishes up, Tony.
That's where the ball is when it touches his glove. Voltaggio said it's foul. I'll tell you, 3 runs were home if it's fair, and he misses it.
So at the end of 8, 3-1, the Yankees over Oakland. We go to the 9th. Well, tomorrow it's game 2 in both pennant battles. Tony and I will be right here at Yankee Stadium, 2 o'clock Eastern time. The Oakland A's with McCaddy against Rudy May. And then the Expos and the Dodgers in prime time. Dick Enberg and Tom Seaver will be in Los Angeles. And Valenzuela will be the pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers. So 2 o'clock Eastern time, and Yankees and the A's, Dodgers, Montreal prime time. That's tomorrow, right here on NBC. This is Kelvin Moore. He's 0 for 3. It's a strike.
This kid's got some power, Moore. 25 home runs in the Pacific Coast League. He's always struck out a lot.
Foul out of play. Billy Martin and the Oakland A's here in the 9th. Broken bat, ground ball. Milburn. There's 1 out. For those of you tuning in for your local news, it'll be seen immediately after the game, followed by the Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson, except on the West Coast, where the Tonight Show will be seen at its regular time. We look at the Yankee bench. The batter is Heath. What a job he did. Defense takes it high, ball 1. He literally saved 2 runs. 1 on a tag play, and 1 as he blocked a low curveball in the dirt. Doesn't get it. The goose is coming on strong. 1 ball and 1 strike. Gossage in relief.
I notice with nobody on base, they're not stepping out on Gossage either.
Strike 2. Crowd reacting now. Popped up. Revering near the stands. He'll have room. Makes the play. 2 outs.
I don't know how a right-handed hitter hangs in there against Gossage with those arms and legs and everything else flailing.
Say there is a fear factor. Not so much at the speed, but the reaction time that you have in the batter's box.
If there is a plus in this ball game, if the score stays the same for the Oakland A's, it's that they kept to their composure throughout this game when it looked like they were going to get blown out after inning number 1. Mike Norris settled down.
2 outs. Strike 1. He just blew it by McKay. Popped up. This could be it. Winfield coming in. Milburn going out. Winfield says he'll take it. So the Yankees win game 1 from Oakland by the final score of 3-1. The winning pitcher is Tommy John. The loser is Norris. Nettles drove in all 3 runs. Give Goose Gossage a save. Big ball game for the Yankees as they win 3-1. And we'll be right back after these messages.